subscribers,
Previously on Confessions of a Former Debt Collector.
For definition purposes, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or FDCPA, was signed into law by President Jimmy Carter on September 20th, 1977, and is basically a list of what third-party debt collectors are allowed and not allowed to do. Hello if you're new, welcome back if you're not. The purpose of this series is to clear up or correct some collection myths and misunderstandings. I received pretty good feedback from my last video, and since there seems to be some interest for now, anyway, I'll continue with this series. This is just a hobby, and this subject matter presented itself to me rather unexpectedly, so I thought I would go along with it and see where it goes. I want to thank all my current and new subscribers for coming along with me.
Neither a borrower nor a lender need. Do not forget, stay out of debt. Think twice and take this good advice from me.
Anyway, I was pretty amazed at the response my last video got. There were lots of good comments and some great questions. I hope I answered everyone satisfactorily. Collection trivia. Who is governed by the FDCPA? The answer, right after this. No, I'm kidding. Anyone connected with the collection of a debt must adhere to the FDCPA. This includes the original creditor. If, for whatever reason, you were late on a payment, say your car loan, the bank will usually start their collection efforts 1 or 2 days after the due date of your missed payment. If you've answered one of their calls, you were greeted with a mini Miranda. This is an attempt to collect a debt, and any information obtained will be used for that purpose. Even the original creditor is bound by these disclosure regulations, not just third-party agencies. Here comes the confession part. Even though I've been out of that business for 7 years, I am still bound by the FDCPA to not disclose any information I might have learned about somebody. As a collector, I was sometimes faced with the uncomfortable reality of knowing the person in the account in front of me. In 20-odd years, it happened more than a handful of times. When one got assigned to me, I immediately gave it to someone else and tried to never see it or follow up with it. It's embarrassing. It's not something I wanted to know, and thankfully most of the degree of separation was such that it was never an issue. So let's look at some more inaccurate information about the FDCPA. Again, nothing I say here should be taken as legal advice. I am not an attorney. This is for educational purposes only. Today's video comes from Nam Nguyen. Apologies if I mispronounced your name. His financial channel currently has 216,000 subscribers, and this video has over 250,000 views so far. Just like in my last video, I left him a comment on his video concerning his inaccuracies, and I got a reply that just said Gmail, but there was nothing in my Gmail from him. So also the title seems a little complicated. So let's take a look.
It's been a while since I wanted to do this video since I have seen many people around me affected by this. And the worst part, most people are clueless on how to react, what are their rights, and how to deal with debt collectors. So in today's video, I'll talk about why you should never pay collections and when it may be a good idea. The main reason why I had to add this in there is that there are plenty of times where you should never pay collections, but there are certain reasons on why you should, and how it can actually help your credit score. Because when you really think about it, the only real reason why you would want to pay a collections account, not only that is the right thing to do, but it is something that you can actually benefit from. Having poor credit is more damaging than you think.
We're off to a good start. It seems accurate, but I don't care for the title.
That this can be credit card debt, auto loans, medical bills, mortgages, and any other household debts that you may occur. There are also times where debt collectors cannot contact you. They cannot contact you between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and they also cannot contact you at work. If you are receiving calls at your workplace, this is actually breaking the law, and you can actually report this to the state attorney general to file a complaint.
This is not correct. The only time a collector may call is between the normal business hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. The exception to this would be if a consumer gives permission to contact outside of these hours. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and call this a misread of his script, but editing should have caught this. As far as calls at work go, this is partially true. The FDCPA prohibits communicating with consumers at their place of employment after having been advised that this is unacceptable or prohibited by the employer. However, your state law may forbid any contact at your place of employment.
Debt collectors, their first method of contact is usually through the phone. It's really up to you if you want to pick up or ignore a phone call from a phone number that you don't recognize. But let's talk about what if you decided to pick up the phone. There is a big misconception out there that states if a debt collection agency calls you and if you pick up and state your name, this confirms that the debt is yours. This is a big myth. Stating your name does not verify that the debt, in fact, is yours. There could be hundreds of other individuals that have the same name as you. Getting your contact information is public records. So just because they call you on your phone and they have your name does not necessarily mean that they have the correct person. But if you do get a phone call from someone that you do not recognize or from an unknown number, you should not be providing any personal identification anyways.
This is partially true. I can't speak for every agency, but every agency I worked at made the first contact by letter. There are some state laws that prohibit agencies from initiating telephone contact for the first 30 days of placement. Some have a 15-day wait. Sending the letter first takes care of those issues and some others, and consumers may make any contact at any time. What he said about the myth of just stating your name is correct.
Typically, if you do receive this letter, there should be something in the letter as well, which is in the fine print or somewhere in between the gibberish, that if you believe that the debt is yours, you have the right to dispute it within 30 days. This is where a lot of people mess up, where it says within 30 days. If you do nothing within 30 days, you're basically admitting guilt. Well, of course, there are possibilities that you never received this letter, but if they send it via certified mail and you sign for this letter, then they know for sure that you did receive it.
This is wrong. The 30-day disclaimer is there to give you time to reply, but you can dispute the bill at any time. The 30 days is just a, hello, we have this account, how would you like to proceed? After 30 days, the assumption is, well, you know about the bill and haven't disputed it, so they will continue with collection efforts. You may still dispute the bill at any time, and you can make one or more than one payment and still dispute it.
Under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they have 30 days to respond to this letter. If they do not respond to this letter, then basically they cannot chase you for this debt. Once you're ready to send this letter, just make sure you send it by certified mail with a receipt.
To the best of my knowledge, the FDCPA does not put a time limit on how long a collection agency must respond to your dispute, only that collection efforts must cease until the requested information is sent. Your state law may have a time limit, and there's the statute of limitations, so it's in the agency's best interest to resolve the disputed issue ASAP. The rest of his video was dealing with credit bureau reporting, and I had nothing to do with that in any of my capacities as a debt collector. There's a considerable amount of inaccurate information in this video. The title is a paradox, and I just don't recommend it. If you feel I got something wrong, leave a comment. Like and share this video if you think it's helpful. I'm just trying to keep it real because there's lots of bad info out there. Our systems don't talk to each other. We don't know you made a payment on our website.